Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to that.
episode of Stuck in a Bit of Podcast, and one of your hosts, Uncle AK.
And I'm Reflex. How you feeling, bro?
Great, man. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. You need a hair. We all need haircuts. Let's just leave it at there. Let's just leave it there. I hit my barber. That man said $70 for in-home visit. I said, bro, it's not worth it. Just we just gonna troop the rest of this quarantine out looking bummy. It's all good. Everybody look bummy anyway. So I'm rocking the hat today. Appreciate everybody who's checking us out on return. Listeners and viewers on YouTube, hit that subscribe button if this is your first time, and the ringer so you get updates every time we drop new episodes. AK has been championing the Couch Talk on Facebook every Thursday, so definitely check those out. We try to spin them around real quick, put them on YouTube for those who don't have Facebook. How's that going, by the way? Everything good with that?
Everything's great with that, man. The conversations are great. The whole purpose of this is just to spark the conversation, right? Us fighting or anything. It's about us understanding each other. Understanding that we are one blacks, and if we don't recognize that first, it's gonna be hard to even try and fight for one over the other. So we have to recognize we're one black first, reconcile all parts and all that. So sparking that conversation, creates that avenue for people to start talking about it and start, doing research and try to understand, what we're dealing with, what's at hand, and finding solutions to tackle that problem. So
I dig it, man. I dig it. Well, hey, I've been checking it out. It's great stuff. We got a special guest in the building today. Still keeping, keeping the people fed as far as interviews are concerned. She is awesome. Got a chance to spend some time with her this week as far as like just looking at her background. A software engineer, a strong community leader with a goal of diversifying various areas in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Please help us welcome Camille Isioma, the Stuck in the Middle podcast. I hope I got that right. Camille Isioma.
Yes, you got it right. Yes, I'm from Isioma.
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Appreciate you taking the time to speak to us. Excellent background. Not just on Zoom, but your background as far as what you do and everything. Thank you so much for taking the time. I think a lot of people will really enjoy this.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Definitely.
For starters, what is a STEMist? What is a STEMist?
So I get that question a lot. A lot of people want to know what a STEMinist is. And it's just very self-explanatory. So STEMinist is just a person who fights for equality for women in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields and careers. There's typically a high turnover rate in those fields for various reasons. And we just want equality, equal representation, not even just that, but just making sure that technology encompasses us as well too. So that's really what a STEMinist is, just fighting for equality in STEM fields.
I like it.
Who's Camille?
Oh, who am I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very unique question. Camille's just, one small Niger girl who came, to America at a young age. And, excuse me. I don't know what happened. Oh, hello? Am I still here?
Yeah, you're good. We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
Oh, okay. It's like broke up. So yeah, I started off in the law field and I didn't like law school, so I abandoned it, and went into the STEM fields. Really, I like to cook. I turn up when I need to turn up, oh God. I'm pretty chill. I feel like a lot of people think if you're in STEM, you're boring, but we're like very lit. So don't sleep, and I have to do my little zanku and everything. I do that at times too. And that's just who I am.
You started off in the law field and then went into the STEM career. And for most of us, so these days, as far as millennials are concerned, and also, African-American in the sense of Nigerian, Cameroonian, Ghanaian Americans, when we growing up, we encourage it'll be law engineers, or doctors. But you kind of like, like circulating in those fields that our parents are pushing us to. What was the passion or the idea behind switching from law to STEM or to engineering?
Okay, so yeah, definitely. My passion behind moving from law into engineering was that law was just dry, and I'm not a dry person. When you go to law school, you start learning about the different aspects of how the law really is, and I used to believe that, oh, if somebody's a murderer, they're a murderer, boom. Then you get to law school and you kind of learn that if they don't meet all the elements, they could get off. And so I started doing research into other things. I actually had a friend named Tim Selu who was always talking about, artificial intelligence and the future of technology and stuff like that. So, it kind of sparked my interest. So I went researching artificial intelligence, and it was like super interesting to me, as well as it was like so prominent in the future. Like, it's like, this is what life is. There are very few women in the thing. I was just like, well, how am I supposed to find my pathway if there's nobody to show me the way? So I have to show my own self the way. And I realized that I could help more people in the long run switch into engineering than I would in the legal field.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, definitely. So STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So you have the sciences, basic, chemical, biology, all those different type of science-related fields. Then you have technology. So that's like your tech jobs, whether it's like a software developer or an IT type of person. That's the T for technology. Anything's dealing with technology based. Then you have the engineerings, you have the aerospace engineering, you have the chemical engineering, you have the civil engineering. You have like those, and that's more so a combination of course, math and infrastructure in some sense. The electrical engineering. Then you have mathematics. So that's the people who love all that math stuff and data sciences and everything like that too. Well, data sciences could go another portion too, but people who do calculations and stuff are in the mathematics portion. So there's different roles in STEM, and there's technical and there's non-technical. So a lot of people ask me, how do I get into a STEM role, or how do I get into tech, or how do I get into engineering? And I always say, like, well, what do you want to do? Because there's technical and there's non-technical. Some people might not want to program, so they might want to be a project manager, or they might want to be an HR specialist in one of those type of fields. So it's really all about what the person wants to do. Because technology, STEM, period. You can be an HR, you can be a creator, you can be a marketer. There's so many different things to do within the field.
With such a lack of representation and in a field that's so diverse, like you just detailed out, that you can really just go into any niche and build a career in, with such a lack of representation as far as even minority women, and you being a woman of color yourself, who do you look up to? You know what I mean? Like, who's your inspiration?
So I think that was like the biggest thing that I kind of had to emphasize when it comes to who and some. I don't really have to talking about the lack of double minorities. I'm a double minority. I am a Black woman. I'm Nigerian, but I'm a brown Black minority. And I was like, since I didn't have a role model, I have to start being a role model for other people, so that people don't have to go through what I went through. And I haven't really gone through any struggles per se, but just looking like, if I have a question right now, I would have to go on Google to find it. I don't necessarily have somebody that I can call or email and say, hey, I want to use TensorFlow to build this, da, 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 da. What do I do? I don't have that. And that's just because, there's not a lot of people who were interested in paving that way. Or they might be there, but they don't know how to visually put themselves in the forefront. So that's kind of why I got into what I got into, so that if people have questions, they can come to me and I can help them out too.
Dig it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So funny enough, a lot of people don't realize that I did not have all the engineering skills when I got my first job as an engineer in aerospace engineering, which was last year actually. And one of the skills that I have that was like super not technical at all, was my interpersonal skill. I think that a lot of people don't realize, and when you're doing your job, when you're working on a team, you can work with a lot of different people. So when you're looking at top skills, having those interpersonal skills is very important. Apart from interpersonal skills, of course, you know, a lot of people as well, they lie. So like when you're going to an interview and they're asking you, well, what do you know? Like, what can you do? Or how proficient are you in X, Y, and Z? People start lying. And what, you know, and it depends on where you are in your career. If you're just switching into engineering from a different field, they don't expect you. Most good companies, because my company is good. She asked me during my interview how proficient I was in one of these languages. And I told her, I said, look, sis, I didn't say sis. But I was just like, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not as proficient, but I can learn. So being teachable was like one of my biggest things that helped me get this job. And she was just like, thank you for being honest. So many people come to these interviews and they lie about programs that they've used, they lie about things they've built, when really we're going to teach you as we go on the job. Being honest, learning, you know, being able to learn, wanting to learn is really big. And that's what helped me break through. So I didn't have all the technical skills. And even now I'm still developing more technical skills as I go through my own personal journey.
That's you know, that's very key as far as like, you know, in this field, being able to stay hungry and learn with a field like STEM and, you know, in science and engineering that's constantly evolving. I don't know if you just got accepted into your doctorate program in GW, George Washington University, or that has completed. I don't know if I should say congratulations in advance or in arrears. So talk to us about that and what kind of research are you going to be doing if you're going into that doctorate program?
Okay, yeah, so I recently just got accepted into GW's doctoral program for engineering. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Hey, turn up, yeah.
Thank you. So the research that I'm really going to be focusing on, and of course, I'm a real big believer of course, you tailor things to what you want to do. So my focus is predominantly artificial intelligence, and that's still trying to figure out which way I want my research and my outcomes and everything to be, but it's predominantly in AI. Like everything that I want to do is in artificial intelligence. And I got into the program because one, it's a credential builder, you know, having, you know, the title and the degree behind you helps you in the field. It kind of helps you as a leading expert, because once you get a doctorate, that's the highest degree in that field. So part of my personal statement, I let them know the truth. I was like, this degree isn't just for me. This is for all the people that I can help with my degree. You know, some people go into medicine and say, I want to help people. Well, I went into engineering because I want to help people. And I believe that my degree will also give me the credentials to kind of get me into a little bit more positions so that I can bring other people up too. Because that's like one thing I don't like when people make it to the top and they're like living their thing, popping their bottles and everything, they forget the people that also want to make it up. And so with my degree, I'm going to go up and I'm going to keep bringing people up with me. And we're just going to keep going back and forth. Okay. I would say from an educational perspective, there needs to be a lot more funding for getting women into STEM, like way more funding. A lot of people don't know how to get funding or where to get it from, or if it's even possible. And there's a lot of funding out there, but it's not advertised in order for people to figure it out. Apart from that, it's also a two-way street. You know, companies need to go out of their way to make sure that when they're hiring women, first of all, that they are hiring women of color, as well as keeping them, retention, because turnover rates with minority women in these companies, with women in general, is already high in these types of endeavors. But just kind of providing resources, providing an environment in the workplace that's going to encourage the woman to keep growing in her field too. Because it's one thing to hire a woman, a Black woman in STEM, but it's something to keep her, you know, hungry and invested in the company. Because whenever she's in there, she can keep elevating, going up, giving people more opportunities. She can go ahead and bring other people up with her. You know, another additional thing is just kind of letting people know that it's possible, even if you're in another field and you decide, you know, you don't like, maybe you're a, I don't know, a nurse or something, and you figure that you don't like nursing. You can get into a STEM role, you can get into a science, or you can get into a technology or engineering or mathematics role. There's so many different avenues. Nobody's journey is the same. My journey is very different. I was in law school. I ditched law school after like my 1L year, and I was like, peace. And I went on and I got into a master's program for engineering. I didn't even know I was going to pass. Hey, God, I was 6 again. They gave me A plus.
Hey.
People are giving me an A. I was shocked too. So I will not tell my parents I've left though, until I and see what I get in the semester. Before you know it, they said, "Oh, congratulations, you got a 4.0." I said, "It's me. It's a lie." But they're upward.
I like it. With you know, the world is like so different right now. You know, unprecedented times with the COVID-19. We're constantly, you know, like shifting and changing the way we interact with each other. Like this interview, you would have normally come into our studio, but now we're talking to each other, you know, physically distance. How or what are some 3 or 5 tips for engineering students like yourself to keep their interests and skills sharp? You know, as far as like staying at home right now, how can they keep their skills and interests sharp? You know, being that we're stuck in the crib, stuck at home right now.
Wow. Well, this depends on what kind of engineering that they're into, right? So there's a lot of different things that engineers can do from home. One thing that I spoke about on my Instagram page was the Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi. It's like a little mini system computer type thing that people could get. And they can like build projects at home. You know, it's really we built a smart home system with the Raspberry Pi, but you can literally get it. You can go online to YouTube and you can have like a step-by-step process on how to build, whether it's face recognition system, you can build a type of camera, you can build a robot, you can do so many different things, and it's really not as difficult as you think. So you buy it on Amazon, it can come to you in like what, 2 or 3 days with Amazon Prime, and you can build that. You can learn. You can actually have a tangible item and say, "This is what I've built." Number 2, what else people can do? They can do LinkedIn Learning. They can do Udemy, Coursera. Take those classes, learn more about it, so that even if you don't use it right now, when you go to an interview, you don't know what they're going to ask you. They might ask you what an OOP is. You're like, oh, object-oriented programming. You know, you'll be able to answer the thing and be sharp on your feet, because you don't know what they're going to ask in these interviews. Like, you just never, sometimes they ask you off the wall things. You're like, oh, wow. Like one time I had an interview for one of these companies. They asked me, how does the internet work? And I was like, what do you mean? How does the internet work? They're like, there's 10 steps. Like, how technically does the internet work? You enter the DNS. Oh, sorry. You know, you enter this, you enter that. So just being prepared for any question that they ask. So by using online learning platforms. Number 3, I would say, you know, put yourself out there. If you are trying to get a job in one of the big tech companies or one of the top aerospace companies as well, or even small companies, you have to be out there for people to see you. You know, the typical way of getting hired isn't always through going to the website and applying for the job. You know, a lot of hiring, people will see you visually, see what you're doing in your field, and they'll reach out to you. You know, and I feel like a lot of people don't focus on branding. Branding is really important. Putting out content, relevant content, high quality content, and things people can learn from. Companies will start coming to you. Instead of you going to them, they might say, hey, we saw your project online and we want to interview you. And then you have a job. So really focusing on building your brand and building a very professional internet presence too, because a lot of employers, they're typing people up on Google. Like, who's this person? They go on Google, they see your mugshot from 3 years ago. You know, you don't know what they're going to see. So you want to make sure that you have content. So when somebody Googles your name, they're going to be, okay, this person is somebody of substance. And I think, you know, that's 3 tips. I think that's enough. So.
Yeah, that's good. I think you're doing a great job, by the way, with your online presence. People go on your Instagram. It's like, that's a lot to learn and a lot to glean from. So that's dope. That's dope.
Thank you. Wow. So I literally was doing, when I went to Nigeria for a year, I was literally like, I'm going to use AI to save Nigeria. AI can change Nigeria's life, as AI can change anybody's life. And you see how it changes America's life. AI can help people from various healthcare aspects, financial sectors, even in real estate. You know, there's little things, every sector can benefit from AI. But the problem right now with the lack of AI presence in Nigeria is the lack of infrastructure, right? I think that there needs to be a more concrete and stronger infrastructure for us to be able to go back home and successfully implement AI into the economy. You know, even little things, for example, like let's look at blockchain technology. So blockchain technology is one of the emerging technologies. Little things like digital ledgers. When somebody is selling real estate, let's say you want to go and buy a land, there's a lot of problem with people reselling the same land and people are getting finessed. Even things like tokens with blockchain, you're able to have a digital ledger and you're able to really verify who really owns this land before you get into a whole fraud situation. That's an example of using blockchain, which is one of the emerging technologies along with AI and cloud computing and stuff like that. So AI can help with healthcare in so many different ways. It can revolutionize Africa, period. And I love that there's so many young people now, because I get messages from people in Nigeria like, oh, I want to get into AI, I want to get into data science. And we need people in data science because we need data to feed into the AI. You know, and it'll be amazing for Nigeria. It'll be amazing for any African country. But the problem is it needs to be regulated, and then it needs to be built with a purpose, not just to make money, but to actually help people. Because even in America, the problem that we have with artificial intelligence is that it's not regulated. It's like a freestyle thing out here. You build some technology, you do what you do. It doesn't matter if it doesn't like Black people, if it doesn't like white people. Nobody knows that, but you built the code. So, but AI could really change Nigeria. Go ahead.
I dig it.
One big conception about women in STEM, that we are inferior in a sense. Some men think that, oh, engineering or math or science or chemistry are a man's job, when women are actually the ones who, we got a little something going on too. And I feel like a lot of women are more than capable of successfully implementing different type of protocols within the field to push it forward. Like, there's so many things that women contribute in the STEM field, whether it's just having that different perspective, because, you know, most of the world growing up was always men in these type of fields. Now that it has women in there have been some new, I have one friend, Corey Graves, and she's been working on this research project for prostate cancer. You know, stuff like that. Like, there's so many things that women can do that people undermine. And then number two, we look good. A lot of people think that STEM girls don't look good, or we don't dress up, or we don't look cute. We look good. So not only is our work ethic great, but we look great. So that's another misconception, because that's why we have the hashtag, this is what an engineer looks like. If you ever go on social media, you type in, I look like an engineer, or this is what an engineer looks like.
My sister, all they have to do is go and look at your video, your Don't Rush video. That's all.
Exactly, which is why I'm really proud of that video, because a lot of people were like, oh, wow. Like, I'm just like, you see, you can be cute and smart. Like the best combination.
You know, saying not to dig too much in your bag real quick. You know, you mentioned that job from last year. How much they paying you for? The eligible bachelors out there who want to slide in the DMs and secure a smart.
They pay more than enough. We'll say that. We'll just say they pay.
She said, "Bring your own money," aka bring your own money.
So the salaries in those skills are pretty good.
What are you most curious about right now?
In terms of what?
Anything. The first thing that comes to your mind. I'm most curious about how the world, for example, I'm most curious about how we're gonna return to quote unquote normal after this virus.
Normal.
What are you most curious about right now?
Anything. I think that's a very similar, apart from like my investment portfolio right now, it's looking real good. I'm very curious about the way the world is going to return, how the economy is going to return, little things like traveling, church. I know like some airlines are taking out the middle seat, to social distance, which then they lose revenue. So does that mean it's going to be a spike in plane tickets, or going to be a decrease in plane tickets, or then a frequency? It's just so many different things like that I'm concerned about. Education, how are people going to go back to school? How are organizations, how are football players going to football, or how are basketball players going to basketball? A lot of programs have shifted online, which I think is actually makes sense, because online programs, from me say this too, because a lot of people, that's random, I'm off a tangent, but online programs are very good if you go to one at a reputable school. Don't be doing all those kata low-end schools who are online, because then you won't have the benefit of having the school's name affiliated to help you get a job, if that makes sense. So yeah, but I agree with you. The new normal post-corona has kind of been on my mind.
I dig it. Listen, Camille, we've entered a segment in this podcast, in this interview, where I ask you a bunch of random questions in rapid fire, and you have only a few words to answer them. I don't know if you're ready. You ready?
Sure.
All right. It's what we call rapid fire questions. Like I said, you have a few words to answer. What song will you dance to entering your wedding on your wedding day?
Awele by Flavor.
Windows or Mac?
Mac.
What are you not very good at?
Working out right now because of Corona.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite thing in your closet right now?
Wow, one of my suits.
How would you describe the color yellow to somebody who was born blind?
Bold.
I like that. Hey, that's smart. Would you rather know how you would die or when you would die? I know that's a scary one, but it's a real question. Would you rather know how you would die? Okay. What would you rather win $10,000 alone or help your best friend win $50,000? I
help my best friend
win $50,000.
I help my best friend.
What is your favorite website or app?
Robinhood.
Robin. Oh yeah, the investment app. Who is your favorite role model or heroes or heroines?
Favorite would be my mom, actually.
Shout out to Momsy. Yeah, you did good. That was dope. I gotta pick your brain about Robin Hood, by the way. I just got into that joint, so maybe brother like.
Oh yeah, let me put you on. I'm up, and Robin Hood.
Hey.
So I got you.
Bet.
What advice do you have for young individuals who want to break into STEM?
Like I said, go in there with the passion, go in there with the reason. Don't just go into STEM because you want to make money, because sometimes you might start off entry and the money might not make sense to you. As time goes on, of course, you'll make more, but just go into STEM with passion, have a drive, want to learn, be teachable. When they ask you something in an interview, be very honest. It's better that you're honest now than you expose later for being a liar. And honestly, just don't be discouraged. Once you get in, you're in. Like once you get into the field, it's easier for you to kind of get your feet wet. So don't be discouraged. And if you ever need help, just hit me up. And I'm always helping people. And I would love to help anybody else who needs help with anything, whether it's getting in or getting out, going up or going down, whatever.
Speaking of getting in contact with you, how can people reach you?
Oh, well, they can reach me by email. They can reach me by LinkedIn, Instagram. Do I tell them my Instagram or do I not tell them my Instagram?
Yeah. Like how, the means like your Instagram name or your Instagram name.
Oh, okay, yeah, Camille Isioma. So it's my first name, Camille, CamilleIsioma. And then from there, you can kind of find me in like other avenues. And email isiomacam@gmail.com. And I'm like always available to help people.
I dig it. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking this time to speak to us. Always encouraged to see, like beautiful brown girls killing it in the science engineering field. AK and myself, we're both in the field as well. So this has been dope. This has really been dope. I learned one or two things.
Yeah. I hope most people are gonna
I really hope that people are going to watch this and be inspired to definitely use this COVID times while we're home, and try and break into this field for those who are actually interested into IT or STEM and all that good
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Well, if
Sweet.
you
Thank you,
return,
guys.
yeah, for sure, for sure. If you enjoy what you heard or listened, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, of course. Subscribe and leave a review. And thank you so much, Camille Isioma, for stopping by,
Oh,
kicking it with
thank you
us.
for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
Listen, this week,
All right, thank you.
all right, have a good one. This week we have interesting couch talk coming up. We're talking cross-cultural relations and tribalism. It's gonna be live on YouTube, 7 o'clock Thursday. Is that right, AK?
Yeah. Is it Facebook? Are we gonna do Facebook or YouTube?
Yeah, we can. Facebook. We can do Facebook.
Yeah.
That way, you know what I'm saying. All the tribes, the tribal people that we know going
Let's stick
poking
to
and
our-
poking.
Let's stick to our regular course, man. From Facebook Live 7 p.m. Thursday. Yeah. The
sir.
cast is gonna be very diverse. You know what I mean? It's gonna be hosted by Reflex himself.
Yeah.
Go pick up that book, man. Congratulations
sir.
again on you dropping your debut novel. Why am I putting this thing for you? Go ahead, man. Give the
Go
people-
pick up my book. It's on Amazon. It's called No Such Thing as Halfway a Novel. I wrote it, with a lot of oomph. So go pick up a dope read to read while you quarantined. Isioma, she's still here. Go pick up a book, Camille. I wrote a novel.
Please, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
It's my
Okay.
novel. It's my novel.
Okay, I'll get it. No
All
problem.
right, I'm gonna send you a link.
Bye,
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all checking in, and have a good one.
Yep. Stuck in the Podcast. We out.
We out.